Ladies and gentlemen, the time has come. I'm going to do something you never thought I would do. That is give Bradley, Matthias, Jerome, Cornelius Holmes his flowers and the way that he has built this team. Now, you guys know that I have been on his head for about 2.5 years about properly addressing the pass rush. And he's come out and said he does not care. He's come out and said that the fans and the media, that we prioritize the pass rush more than him. I believe that even after everything that he's built, we are still a pass rusher away. That's what I feel. This game is won in the trenches on both the defensive and offensive side of the ball. You got to be able to get to the quarterback when it counts. You never know. That one play, that one snap, Aaron Donald, one snap away from the Rams winning their Super Bowl back in 2021 with Matthew Stafford. If Aaron Donald, who is a defensive tackle, not a defensive end, one of the great ones, if he does not get to Matthew Stafford, Jamar Chase had Jalen Ramsey on a duster. He was gone, game over, walk-off touchdown essentially is what it would have been. So these guys shaped the line. And you guys know, this is the one position that I think that Brad has failed to properly address. Now, I know what you guys are saying. You're saying, hey, Derek, we're third in the NFL in sacks. You also told me that Harold Landry gets inflated numbers. You didn't want him on this team because he gets sacks in garbage time. I find it very fitting that Al-Qadim Muhammad can get a garbage time or a few garbage time sacks, and it's okay. But when Harold Landry does it, it's a problem. So what I'm not giving Brad those flowers. So you thought that was the case. That is not the case. But I thought outside the box. I said, you know what? It's a bye week. Let's talk about some things. And I'm being genuine here. I'm always being genuine, but I'm being genuine here. And the reason that I decided that I wanted to make this video is I got to give Brad his flowers on what he was willing to do to make this team better. Now, of course, I don't have any say-so on the team. I'm a guy who sits on a fan, who sits in his basement, makes YouTube videos about his thoughts on the team. That's all I am, right? I've never claimed to know more than him. I've never claimed to be a general manager. I've never claimed to have all the intel needed to build a football team. I've never claimed. I use the eye test. I use the number test. And you know what's crazy about this whole thing is that a lot of fans, media pundits, and things outside of the Jahmyr Gibbs reach pick, which I had no problem with when everyone else, like the media, did. I feel like we have seen what we've needed to do for a while, right? If you don't do something, I made a illustration during my live stream yesterday, which is Detroit Lions Weekly, airs Thursdays at 4 unless life gets in the way. I made a comparison. I used a metaphor about, you ever seen one of those cars that you're driving and you see a car on the side of the road and one of the wheels is turned in an unnatural way. It's too far out, something popped, it's done, right? Most of the time, that car was not properly cared for. The service of that car. I take my car in to get a 21-point inspection, and I drive a car, all right, that is 11 years old? It is 11 years old. That's what I drive. It's paid off. It still runs well. I drive. Eventually, I'll get a new car, but because I care for my vehicle, right, I've never had a major problem with it. As a matter of fact, when I went in, the guy was like, you take really good care of this thing, right? I bring it in. Every time it needs an oil change, I take it in. They need something done. They say, hey, you need a sway bar. You need a whatever, right? I get it serviced on a regular basis. So I've never run into a huge problem, right? Just the regular wear and tear from a car. So if you neglect something for long enough, then it's going to catch up with you and you're going to have a massive repair bill. That's what I think Brad has done specifically. I want you guys to hear me, specifically with the defensive line. Everyone knew signing Marcus Davenport a second time was a bad idea. Everyone knew it the first time. There's been a couple guys that I've been wrong about. DJ Reader, okay, and Tim Patrick. Outside of that, I haven't been wrong when it comes to signing guys, right? When it comes to what is this guy going to do? And maybe I have, maybe I haven't. I don't really remember. But when it comes to if you can predict what's going to happen, why can't Brad do that, right? So, but I have to give him his flowers. And here it is. Watching the way that Brad has built this team and watching how others are how they just refuse to let things go. It tells me that sometimes, like, I got to give him credit. You got to make the hard decisions. Brad has a lot that he has to do this offseason. I don't know if y'all into it like me, right? A lot of you get your news for the first time from listening to a YouTube creator. Brad has a lot of work to do. I don't envy him at all. And I would much rather be doing this. I don't envy the job that he has to do next offseason is ridiculous. And I do not envy that. But, and we'll touch base and talk about that in a second. But what Brad has done, and it all started with the ability or the willingness to give up Matthew Stafford. Here's why I'm saying that. I'm looking at these other organizations and how they blatantly come out and say, we're not going to trade, quote, our best player. In 2021, Matthew Stafford, at 33 years old, was still our best player. He was our best player. Even though he wanted out, the Lions didn't have to do that. Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell, they didn't have to honor his request. You put 12 years here, who cares? We're going to hold you hostage. We've seen Myles Garrett held hostage. Max Crosby, Raider for life, you go right ahead and do that, buddy. But they've come out. We're not trading our best player. You're not getting him. Even the New York Jets, guys are coming out. Crappy football teams that could build off. You're holding on to one player. Look at what Brad Holmes was able to do from trading away Matthew Stafford. We were able to get Jamison Williams. We were able to get, well, Penei Sewell was part of our pick anyway. We were able to flip that into some core players. We were able to get Jahmyr Gibbs. We were able to get Jack Campbell, guys that's going to be around for a long time. I've been on record saying that Jahmyr Gibbs will be the highest paid running back in the NFL when his contract is extended. Brad was willing to do the tough thing. The fans, some fans wanted Matthew, was ready. Some fans couldn't stand him. It was funny because I was all for letting him go, letting him be free under the stuff that he had been through. But the minute he asked for a trade, that's when I turned. I'm like, nope, you're right. So fandom is a weird thing. But Brad was able to make the hard decision because I'm watching the Raiders not going to win nothing. The Cleveland Browns, the doo-doo Browns, not going to win nothing, right? They are or were our AFC counterpart. They were our AFC brothers. But now we are leaps and bounds better than them. And yes, that has to do with, starts with Sheila Hemp, trickles down to, it starts there. But Brad Holmes making the football decisions, right? Doesn't excuse him from the things that he's not doing. Okay, I want to be very clear about that. But I have to, as I was watching and all of this stuff, as the trade deadline is coming upon us, all you've heard was, we're not letting go of this guy. The Dallas Cowboys are willing to trade. They just traded away Micah Parsons. They're willing to immediately use that capital to get a guy today. They want to trade from Max Crosby. Raiders said, we're not interested in trading him. The fact that you don't trade away your best player, and when you are a crappy football team, that best player can help you build the same way that the Detroit Lions have helped. It helped the Detroit Lions build, right? So I think the Detroit Lions are beyond that. I think that we are built. We now can sacrifice a first-round pick or something like that to make a trade that will push us over the top. We are now in the San Francisco 49ers CMC territory. We are now in the LA Rams trading for who was it? They signed Von Miller. They signed Odell Beckham or something like that. They traded for Matthew Stafford. I think we are in the buyers to make our team we're one player away. We're not a whole draft, a whole slew of players away like the Las Vegas Raiders. They're terrible. So I'm thinking about, okay, Max Crosby allegedly doesn't want to go. Myles Garrett allegedly doesn't want to go. Do you know that the Cleveland Browns, and this is what I'm thinking about, and again, there's no sarcasm here. I am 100% giving Brad credit for what he's done. I don't think that you guys understand that because I think it gets lost in my delivery. I try not to be more. I am a very animated person. I am a fan at the end of the day. I am not one of these dry eyes, Visine, boring, never leave the basement, those creators. You can have them. There are plenty of those. I'm not that guy, right? When I started this channel, it was a reflection of you sitting on the couch. And if you vibe with me, you vibe with me. If you don't, you don't. I think that's why I resonate with a lot of y'all because you're like, this dude, I am the crash out king, right? I'm the crash out king when it comes. So you cannot say that about any other Detroit Lions creator. I know that for a fact. I am the crash out king, right? Because I am a fan who who paid his own money to build a studio, Long way to go, by the way. All of that thing. I started this channel not for money, for fandom. That's why the tagline of this whole brand is fan-driven brand, because we will never ever be commercial, right? We will never be bought. We will never be controlled. We will never be anybody who comes and joins the syndicate as a channel host. Okay, these guys are fans of the team. So I will give credit to where credit is due. Brad has one thing to do. And the funny thing is, there's no lies detected in anything that I'm saying. The fact that he's invested much more resources into the secondary than he has the D-line, that he has not properly addressed the pass rush, that he likes, or I should say the defensive end position, that he likes to sign injured players, that he does sometimes shop at the dollar store. All of that has gotten us to where we are. Is it enough to take us over the hump? That's what we're now waiting on. But I look at these other organizations that they just refuse. They just refuse to part ways with their best player, a guy that they can build a new team off of. The Cleveland Browns are an abysmal organization. They traded for Deshaun Watson, a catastrophe. Absolutely. You're not going to do anything unless you get the quarterback position right. The fact that they traded a quarterback in division. I mean, trading a tight end is one thing. Trading a quarterback when you don't have one, you know what I'm saying? You got a rookie third rounder as your quarterback who may or may not be the future. You trade this guy in division. Like, nobody does that. Nobody does that, right? So Andrew Berry refuses to let go of Myles Garrett, his best player. When you are hurting, you probably are going to have to draft another quarterback. And even the wherewithal for Brad to say, hey, as Jared Goff is getting trashed in LA, a lot of Lions fans did not accept him. You guys, when you finally did is when he took us to the NFC Championship game. When he won that playoff game and the Jared Goff chants were coming out, and you still won't give him his flowers. You still, if Lamar Jackson was available today, you would throw Jared Goff to the side. When you think about me criticizing Brad Holmes, I want you to think about yourself with a guy that did more than Matthew Stafford has ever done. And yes, the team had a lot to do with that. But the point is, this guy, just like Brad Holmes, deserves his flowers. And I'm going to give them to Brad when it comes to this. Okay, this is not me backtracking or trying to win back you guys. I'm not that guy. There's a lot of those on YouTube. I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy. And one day it might not do well for this channel. And when that day comes, then that's when I'll sign out. I will never be that guy, right? But I've been thinking, watching all of these people, watching the people. It's not about the people that's willing just to make the moves and say, forget them picks. It's also about the guys that's willing to make the hard choices and say, look, we got to get rid of this guy. We're not going to go anywhere. We're not going to go anywhere. We need so much more than this guy. So now the Detroit Lions are at the point where they just need that one more piece. We're not the Cleveland Browns. We're not the Vegas Raiders are terrible. They're terrible. It gives me great joy to see the pain on Max Crosby's face. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. That's a sarcastic sorry. You chose the Raider for life. I appreciate the loyalty. But, hey, with great losing comes sad faces. So I don't want to hear it. One thing I can say about Stafford, one thing I can say about Stafford is Stafford said, look, I've done my time here, and I don't think I don't want to do it again. I don't want to do it again. I still don't like the fact, my issue with Stafford is that he asked to be out. That's my issue. And I think anybody, and then, but it wasn't just that. It wasn't just that. It was the stuff that came with him leaving. It was the fact that Matthew was a very quiet guy, never really talked in Detroit. When he got in LA, he was everywhere. He was on every magazine. He just wouldn't shut up. He was interviewed all that, you know what I'm saying? All of that stuff bothered me. And then to top it all off, he went to a Super Bowl. But I was team, trade him away, put him on a good team. But when it's different when somebody asked for it, right? It feels personal. It really does. So again, I'm a fan of the football team. I don't control any decisions that they make, but I talk about them. That's what I would do. That's what I would expect you to do. And we've earned the right to do that, right? So this video is about giving Brad Holmes his flowers, being willing to trade Matthew Stafford in a time and deal with the 3-13-1. Deal with that. Even Aaron Glenn's stubbornness of just now after 7 losses in a row, going 0-7, deciding to pull Justin Fields. His stubbornness went over there. Now, the Jets owner claims that he's safe. And basically, no matter what, he's going to get fired. But the Jets are the Jets, right? The Jets are, and I'll just say this and we'll wrap the video up. Dan Campbell and Aaron Glenn are two different coaches. If Aaron Glenn can only rely, he can only lean on we started like this in Detroit only so long. Detroit, the Jets of 2025 were better than the Lions of 2021. 100%. 100%. Name me a receiver on the Detroit Lions who's not named Amon-Ra St. Brown in 2021. I'll give you 5 seconds. Tyrell Williams played half a game. Name somebody in the secondary in 2021 that's not named. Who do we have back there? Who was our starting cornerbacks in 2021? Who was our starting cornerbacks in 2021? Who was our starting defensive ends in 2021? Who was our starting linebackers? Put any starter outside of one of the big name ones. And Amon-Ra St. Brown didn't do anything for about, 12 games, really? So the Jets, the fact that Aaron Glenn inherited a much better team, if you ask me, and somebody was like, no, it was a much better team. The fact that you have Sauce Gardner, Breece Hall, Jermaine Johnson, Will McDonald, right? Quinnen Williams, like I can just stop right there. What are we talking about? That you inherited a much better team than Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes did in 2021. There's no comparison. So again, giving Brad his flowers, I don't want y'all to think I'm always on his head. I see what he's doing. But like I said in my live stream, I'm ready for Brad Holmes. To me, is he has so much more, right? Brad Holmes can be a great GM. I want him to be historic. I want him to be historic. You know what historic is? Bringing the Detroit Lions their first Super Bowl. That is historic. Your name is edged in the history books. That's what I want. Great, good, great, fine. Historic is what I'm looking for. That's my one goal. Great GMs, fine, fantastic. A great GM is great. I'm ready for history to be made. And to me, one piece away. The way that he's built this team. Now, as we've run out of time with this long video, did not mean for it to go this long, but a lot of times when I'm not bringing in any graphics, that's one thing I can do is talk. What I was going to say is that next year, the Detroit Lions are going to be up against it. We have this, and this is why I'm pushing the pass rusher like I am as well. We missed out on an opportunity in 2023 to go to our first Super Bowl ever. We were 30 minutes and 17 points away, or 16 points away from going to our first ever Super Bowl. I think a pass rusher would have made that happen. You can, Josh Reynolds, it's a lot of things you can, but one thing I was on from the very beginning was a pass rusher. A pass rusher. Name the pass rusher opposite Aiden in 2023. Put it in the comment section below. Brad is going to have to next year. We're $21 million in the hole. I don't think Taylor Decker returns next year. I think this is his last year with the Detroit Lions. Next year, you have to decide what you're going to do with Jahmyr Gibbs. I think we're going to make him the highest paid running back in the NFL. You have to extend Aiden Hutchinson. You have to extend Brian Branch and Sam Laporta. Jameson Williams is already done. On top of that, you're going to need another left tackle. So it ain't over. You got to decide what you're going to do with Malcolm Rodriguez. It's not going to break the bank, but it's some smaller moves that need to be made as well. This is on top of being negative $21 million out the gate. Without any restructures, without anybody, you have to decide. Our defensive line, DJ Reader is not under contract. Levi, not under contract. Pascal, not under contract. Mohammed, not under contract. Marcus Davenport, not under contract. And a list of others. Wheat, Lacey, Lopez. I don't think any of those guys are under contract. Massive moves that have to be made next year. So he's got his work cut out for him. That's why this year is even more pressing. Get that guy that can take us all the way. Help take us all the way. So giving Brad his flowers, because I'm watching these GMs that are just stubborn. They will not move. They will not get off of it. And because of that, they will not win. They will not win. Max Crosby, Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett will lose his hair. He will join the hair club for men like myself before he wins a Super Bowl. I see it, Myles. I see it, bro. You can trust me. There are things you can do about it. And you rich, so you can do more than do that Deion Sanders, bro. Anyway, this channel is made possible by viewers, subscribers, and members just like you. It's because of your support I get to do what I do. You could be anywhere else on YouTube, but you choose to rock with me. Don't forget, we have exactly 1 week left of the Cancer Cares, where 20% of the sales from the Cancer Cares merchandise will be donated to cancercares.org. That'll be happening in the first week of November. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions. See, Brad, you know I love you. I'm just playing.